Hello there, and welcome to the Overwatch Advanced Lucio Guide. Now before I get started with this guide, just want to let you know, I had gotten Overwatch not too long ago, actually a while ago. I just wanted to play the match of the game. You know, I thought, man, a lot of people are going to be recording it, so maybe I shouldn't just put out more random content, because I know it's kind of hard to watch when everybody does it. But I really got into Lucio, and I want to share my advanced guide, because I know that there are some guides out there that give you character information, but all of them are kind of not really in depth. And that's exactly what this is going to be. This is going to be an in-depth guide of Lucio. So before I get started with this guide, I just want to make sure that we all have the basics down. So really short and sweet, I'm going to introduce his abilities. First of all, Lucio's primary gun, which is his sonic amplifier, fires burst damage. It's 4 shots, and it's about 15 damage per shot. It has kind of a medium travel time. It's not too fast, not like Genji's arrows. I mean, Hanzo's arrows. More like a little slower than Genji's stars, or whatever they're called. Also, he has a secondary fire where if you right-click, then it does 25 damage burst, which is kind of like a shotgun in a circular form, and all it does is knock enemies back. It has a 4-second cooldown, and it takes 4 ammo, so that takes 4 out of 20 ammo in your ammo slot. Next up, his ability is Crossfade. What Crossfade does is you have 2 options. You have a left side, which shows a healing status, and a right side, which shows arrows, which means you have increased movement speed. If you're set to the healing side, then every 2 seconds you'll heal 25 health to everybody around you. I'm not sure how big the radius is. All I know is that anybody within the radius gets 25 health every 2 seconds, and you can see the number of people you're affecting by a number down in the center of the crossfade area. If you're switched to your speed section, or your speed fade, then you give everybody around you in that same radius 30% movement speed. You also have a secondary ability, which is your E, and what this does is it amplifies the speakers on his back, and whichever song you're playing in your crossfade gets amplified. So if you're on the healing portion, everybody around you in the same radius gets 120 health per every 3 seconds, and if you're switched to the speed side, you get 110% movement, so everybody's moving twice as fast. Next up, we have his ultimate, which is a sound barrier. All this does is that it gives everybody basically 500 overshields. So it gives everyone 500 extra health for a duration of 6 seconds. It decays faster than you think. Now, one thing to note about the sound barrier ult is that if you say have a Roadhog who has 50 health left, and he has a health pool of 600, it does not heal his 600 health. It just gives him an extra 500 overshield. So when that overshield is gone, Roadhog's going to be stuck at 50 health again. One thing to note about the Lucio's ultimate, or the crossfade amplifier, is that if you know that your team needs to sponge something, or if you have an important rush that's going down, you can just press E and solve the problem. If there's a Pharah who's using her ultimate, you can either, if you know you have if you have like say a lot of tanks on the field, you can either press E to heal them super fast, or a better option would be to press E and then have everybody just disperse. Same thing with Hanzo's ultimate. If there's an ultimate coming, if there's a Mei, all you have to do is hit E and everybody will get away. It's especially useful when Roadhog uses his ultimate. I mean, not Roadhog. When Junkrat uses his ultimate. Be careful about using his ultimate though, because it does kind of have like a pre-charge. It doesn't just instantly activate per se Mercy's ultimate. He actually jumps in the air and he literally drops the beat. So if you jump in the air, this has happened to me all the time. A Roadhog can hook you while you're doing it. He can also ult you and push you like all around the map like they push Zenyatta. Or you can just straight up be pushed by anything else. Pharah's E, her rocket. What else is there? Lucio can also use his sound pulse, like his sound wave against you. A key thing about his ultimate though is that it's not really offensive like it is defensive. You can use his ultimate when you know that your team is kind of at a pinch, they're losing health, and you need to make a really hard push. You can also use it when Zarya activates her ultimate. I've used it whenever it's almost like an ultimate counter. It's so good at nullifying other ultimates. Whenever a Mei, say a Mei drops her ultimate on the field, if you're fast enough, you can press your Q, and then you can have everybody sponge the damage while they're frozen, which is very useful. I've actually saved my team doing that. Or you can use it defensively. Like I said, if a Pharah comes up and she activates her ultimate after everybody gets hooked inside of the Gravitron from Zarya, then you can press Q and everybody sponges all the damage. It's all good. One thing to note about Lucio, I'm getting on to the playstyle now, is that he's not necessarily like either Mercy nor Zenyatta. Zenyatta is a DPS machine, but he has no health pool. And Mercy is way too passive. She has that little tiny gun, and you know, I've taken on a Hanzo. One time I actually took on a Hanzo really well, but you don't really count on it because that Hanzo was trash anyway. But Lucio is kind of the haven in between. He can take care of himself, but at the same time, you wouldn't really go out and try to 1v1 everybody you see. Something you need to really take advantage of is Lucio's movement. That's exactly what he has going for him. Now, as you know, Lucio's passive ability is a wall ride. And what this does is if you go up to a wall and you hold space, he starts skating on it. That's pretty awesome. And you can use this to your advantage to stay elusive. Some things that you can take advantage of, and this is where we're kind of getting advanced, and this is where the advanced guys really start, is Lucio's movement. That is his skill ceiling. First of all, you can stall on capture points, and what I mean by stalling on capture points is that you can take advantage of any cylindrical structure, like say on Leijing Tower, if there's a little dome sitting, I don't exactly know what to call it, but there's like this little circular thing that looks like a map when you're inside of a mall, and they have like this dome thing that shows you a map of the mall. You can spam space and you can keep hopping on it and riding in circles, and you're actually very hard to hit. I was playing on against a 6-man Lucio team. Well, it was actually since 6-man Winston, and they changed to Lucio last minute to all stay on the point, and it took us about 2 minutes of overtime to finally get them all off and win the game. You can also take advantage of finding exploits to where Lucio can travel. If, say for example, Hanamura, there's actually a cool spot up that huge doorway where the attackers come from. You can actually get on top of that doorway and you can hang out on the top with your heal. You know, be a little devil to hit. Hope to God there's not a sniper that's going to take you out like Hanzo or Widowmaker. You can also get on top of a tower that's next to the defensive point, stay up there, and be of a nuisance. Have your speed up, be super hard to hit. I mean, you really wouldn't be doing yourself a favor because you'd also have a hard time hitting them. But like I said, Lucio is not meant to be he's not meant to be a DPS machine, but he's not meant to be too passive either. He's meant to be there and bug the hell out of you because they know that he's going to be hard to kill with a zeal. Now, one thing that makes Lucio really good is that any kind of corner in a wall is your friend. If you have two walls that are next to each other, 90-degree angle, standard wall in like any room, then you can actually jump back and forth between those walls to gain height, and then you can ride the wall in either direction to go to where you need to go, which is actually exactly how I got up to that bridge spot. I will ride onto the giant wooden part, and then I jump on the door and then jump back and forth until I got up onto that long overhead. Now, one cool spot that I want to mention, which is kind of out there, this is just one thing I discovered while in the custom game, is inside Leijing Tower on the control point with a big circular room. You can actually go up to the top and you can ride around the entire room in endless circles, and you can actually shoot down on the team. And like I said, you can just be annoying with Lucio. That is exactly how you need to play Lucio. You have to be annoying. Lucio is also good for pushing the payload, because the payload, like TF2, excuse me, the payload like TF2 does heal you, and Lucio will also give you the heal, so you get a little double heal action going. It's just important to note that Lucio is not a damage sponge. He's not an absolute tank. He is an elusive mini tank. He's almost like Mei, where he's just so hard to kill because he's self-proficient and he's speedy. He's hard to hit. One mistake that I do see when I fight Lucios is that most of the time when they fight me, they switch to their heal, and then they just jump around everywhere on the floor, and that actually makes him, when he's in his heal, he's honestly not that fast, and he's easy to track. A better thing to do is, if you're playing as Lucio, is to switch into your speed form if they're kind of like close up to you, and be around them like a mini tracer. Be hard to hit. If you're if it just depends on the enemy. If it's a Winston, just stay all around him or move away. On the next part of this advanced guide, I'm not gonna tell you what counters Lucio and what Lucio counters, because in this game that almost doesn't make sense unless you're talking about straight up like Widowmaker and Pharah, because in this game it's really dependent upon your skill. I'm going to tell you how to play against other heroes and how you can deal with certain heroes even if they are his counters, or even if he does counter them. I'm going to tell you what to be aware of. I can't necessarily show you gameplay in every scenario, but I'll give you a little bit of insiders. Now, Lucio versus Soldier and versus Tracer, he outdamages them, period. If Tracer is not on you like point blank range all the time shooting at you, then your heals are going to keep up with her damage. She can't damage you fast enough. I mean, yes, she can hit you fast, but she has to reload so often and duck in and out of cover as Tracer plays. A soldier also has his biotic field, which it can heal him, but then he has 14 seconds of nothing. And at that point, you can just harass him at medium range, at medium to close range, and you can't do anything about it. You can stay in your speed form and stay close up to him. Soldiers does not like anyone to be close to him. He likes to have a controlled engaging environment, which is exactly why he has a biotic field and he has a sprint, so he can get away to medium range. But if you're Lucio and you have your speed on, and especially if you hit your amplifier and you speed up towards them and knock them around with your sonic wave, disorient them, then you're actually going to be challenging. One thing I want to tell you about the sound wave is that when you do right click and you hit them, they actually can't turn around in the air. It's almost like their body is static and they're literally just pouncing from one point to the other, and then they can move again. So it's almost fair to say that you should be disorientating teams with your speed and your sound wave. Like when I see a Reinhardt has his shield up, Reinhardt straight up walls you. There's nothing you can do about it. But if I see like some of his team behind him, what I'll do is I'll speed off to the side, I'll kind of flank them, or maybe I'll just speed straight up to them, and then I'll right click and push Reinhardt to the side or something. And it messes them up for a few seconds, and those few seconds might be all that you need for Reinhardt to turn around, and then maybe a Widowmaker to headshot him, or for somebody to get damage off on Reinhardt, because like I said, that's exactly what Lucio's for. He's for being in your face, in the front line, but not necessarily right at the front line. He kind of wants to be like right behind a soldier, or you know, near someone. Next up, we have Winston. With Winston, his gun is strong, but you can either, as a Lucio, you can either run away, which is usually what happens, because if he jumps towards you and he jumps on you, and you switch your speed and you get away, he can't do anything about it because his jump takes 4 or 5 seconds to recharge. Or if he's low in health, you can have your heal out, and your heal it won't outpace his gun, but it'll definitely like keep you up in the running. Also, Reaper. You can if Reaper gets too close to you, all you have to do is sound wave, and then harass him for like medium to close range. Not super close, because we all know that Reaper will decimate you, but at a good range, Reaper cannot keep up with your healing. Genji also. I wouldn't necessarily try to heal against a Genji, which you definitely can do. Against a good Genji though, I would actually keep my speed form up, because think about it, when Genji attacks you, he is almost like a tank buster. He wants to do damage to you on a helpless target. He wants to harass supports. But a Genji can't harass a Lucio who's taking advantage of his wall jumping, who's taking advantage of his speed. I actually knocked out a Genji because it's almost like he didn't expect me. I switched to my speed, I sound buried him to disorient him, and then I started harassing him like he harassed me. And I played the game better. I guess I had the better aim. I kept track of him, and that was good. With Junkrat, I would not try to out-heal a Junkrat, because Junkrat is actually a high DPS character if he's good at aiming. So what I try to do is stay elusive against the Junkrat. McCree also, stay at good range. Same thing with Mei, stay at good range. If she gets too close, I instantly, this is not even like, I think about this, I instantly react to my speed, and I Sonic Blast and speed out. I never want Mei to get close to me, because if she freezes you, what you can do is, if you know that you're dead, you can switch to your you can crossfade to your heal, and then you can press E, and while you're frozen, maybe you'll be able to get away. But if she's smart, what she'll do is she'll just keep shooting her freeze ray. So you gotta look out for Mei. Now, what to be aware of as a Lucio is a little different. Like I said, everybody that I just named, Winston, McCree, like even Zarya or Reaper, how you could play around them with staying away. They can also surprise you. If a Winston jumps on you, if you're not prepared for him, if a McCree jumps on you, if a Zarya gets on you, or a Reaper, if they get on the drop on you, then you're kind of dead. And you can also say Diva, but the thing about Diva is that she has to jump jet towards you, and then it actually takes her like some setup time to start shooting you. And by the time she does that, she's already slowed down. You can switch your speed and run away, because while she's shooting you, she can't go anywhere basically. And so as Diva's not much of a threat, she has like I said, her mech has some setup time. She can't just straight up start shooting you. Widowmaker will definitely melt you long range, and ideally you would be able to take a Widowmaker out at close range, because like I said, you can out damage her. She's probably gonna miss her shots with her gun. But the thing about Widowmaker is that she has a grappling hook, and if she's smart enough, what I would do is I would just straight up get away. I wouldn't want to deal with a Lucio, and then she'll just snipe you from there. Roadhog, like I said again, can hook you. Reinhardt straight up walls you. There's nothing you can do about a Reinhardt. I'm sorry. So that's really my in-depth, not so much analysis, but in-depth review, or not even review, I guess it is an analysis about Lucio. Overall, if you take anything away from this guide, use your speed to advantage. That is what Lucio has going for him. I see way too many Lucios that just stay on the heel, and they don't take advantage of the offensive pressure that a Lucio can apply to a team, just by simply using speed. You also have to know when your team needs to sponge or when it needs to push fast. So like I said, if there's an ultimate coming, or everybody's taking a lot of damage, you need to heal them up quick, crossfade over to your heal them up. Or if you know you need to push on an objective, let me tell you, a Roadhog who is amplified his speed, whether it's 30% or 110% by Lucio, is scary. Because Roadhog can get in your face. If you speed boost a Mei, nobody's going to get away from her. She's going to freeze everyone. Also, just stay on the front lines as Lucio, but don't stay directly on the front lines. Always keep a presence on the front line, kind of like a Mei. When people see a Mei, they think, oh shit, I'm not going to go and contest with the Mei because Mei is going to mess me up. The same thing happens with the Lucio. You apply your offensive pressure there, your defensive pressure even, and people will think twice about pushing somewhere, or they think twice about taking a certain action. Take advantage of the fact as a Lucio that you are hard to kill. Like I said, you can wall jump everywhere, you can stall on points. Lucio is absolutely perfect for it. He can be very annoying. And that's about all I really have for you today for my advanced Lucio guide. As always, drop a like, leave a comment letting me know which character you'd like to see next. If you want to see, say, Soldier 76 over Mercy, or maybe Soldier 76 over Symmetra, because Symmetra's kind of underplayed. Just let me know whichever character gets the most likes, or whichever one I'm feeling. If they don't give enough likes, I'll go into that character, and then I'll show you in-depth on them. I'll kind of do it like this one. Let me know what you'd like to see. Maybe I missed out something in this in-depth video that I could have covered over. But as always, subscribe to stay updated, and until the next time, I'll see you later.